Welcome to Lock Picking Legend.
And yes, you are indeed watching Lock Picking Legend. And this is the third and final of our little triptych of Yale Lishi type videos. Now you might be able to hear a bit of a hum, a bit of a vibrate in the background, but that's because it's an absolute scorcher here today, and proof of that to you now I will give. Hey Siri, what's the temperature in Phnom Penh right now?
It's about 34 degrees outside.
Yeah, which makes it about 37 inside.
Meneer Contella interior, Scorchio.
Oh, garden gizmo.
So I can't do this without the fan on. Doesn't matter. Oh, camouflage. Things are never quite the way they seem. A little tribute there to 80s Vietnam. A savage and brutal war tribute song there. I think his name was Stan Ridgway. Not as important as I would have perhaps once thought it was as a young boy, singing that to Penelope Dupont, who I fancied, but it turned out she was part of the religious cult, the Plymouth Brethren, which is why the headmistress told me to stop giving her gifts, because her parents complained. Anyway, enough of my tragic and traumatic upbringing. Let's have a look at the pics. Here we go.
No.
Gizmo.
So here we go. I've got a 6-pin trade locks Euro cylinder with the pronounced core. See that there? And that's what this video is about. Here's the bitting. Quite high low. Look at the one on the left there, very deep. Pop that in. Lock works a treat. Now this is the rim cylinder pick. I've done nothing to this, and there's your problem. Focus. See? It doesn't get past that weird extrusion. If you know the right name for that, let me know. So when you get to pin 6, you ain't having it. Well, it ain't having it. I ain't having it.
No.
You know, if it was a 5-pin lock, as you can see there, but 6, no joy. Now, this is my modified one. I've done this on a belt sander with some heavy grit paper.
Okay, you want to watch out where your fingers are. People take their fingers and they push like this, and then you're going to end up sanding the tips of your fingers, and it's not going to feel very well.
Can you see what I've done? Just took the edge off it there, and now it fits in there. Don't do it on a belt on a bench grinder. My mate's got through 3 of these picks trying to adapt it. But now look, pin 6, lovely. Lovely. It does grab a little bit, but if you're familiar with using Lishi picks, especially the vehicle ones, they can be a bit grabby.
Grabby. Grabby.
It's one of the things about them, but you learn it and you deal with it. So it's in the lock. The adaptation has been made. Here's one I had adapted earlier, so to speak. You can see that lovely. Now the pins aren't going to match up. I mean, this is a UAP trade lock cylinder, but in the previous video made, which I'll link in the top right now, you'll learn how to pick locks where the markings don't match up. But a combination of the adaptation, the protrusion from the core, and it being a UAP, all of that has caused it not to match up. So here we go. We're just going to go through it, find out where the pins are. And it's pretty simple, really. 6 is set, and I know why, and I'll tell you in a minute. I'm just looking for a bit of resistance. 3's binding. Very little bit of counter rotation, which makes me think that's probably a spool pin. Very shallow spool pin though, by the feel of it. All I've done is released a bit of tension to deal with a spool. Nothing on 4, 5, I think 6 still there. Lovely. And this is what you do with all Lishi picks. I know this isn't a Lishi pick, but I'm bored of saying Lishi style. But it is a Lishi style, should be said. Yeah, that was a spool pin as well. So there's a spool on 2. Nothing happening. 5's binding. Counter rotation, and we're open.
Oh, garden gizmo.
Absolutely lovely. Now pin 6 didn't need picking because it was a 9 cut, and as we learned in the last video, the blade on these picks automatically sets any pins that are a 9 cut. So legends, if you'd extend me the privilege of going deep down into the depths of the lockpicking legend recycled image department, have a look at this, because this makes it a little bit more easy to understand if you're not at that advanced level. This is the plug of a lock, yeah? Basically, you've got the Yale Lishi style pick blade that's gone in at the bottom of the keyway there. You've got 5 key pins, different sizes, and 5 driver pins, which are usually always the same size. There are some anomalies or whatever, but for this demonstration or illustration, this will do. Now, the deepest cut on the key is the longest key pin in the lock. And it just so happens that when you put the blade of the Yale Lishi style pick into the keyway, it lifts the 9 cut pin right up perfect to the shear line. So it picks it for you. That pin is set. I mean, if you had a lock that had 3 9 pins in it, you'd only have to pick 2 pins. Does that make sense?
No.
So that modification works. You know, and to be honest with you, if you're on a job and you've got a bit of heavy grit sandpaper, you could probably do that by hand. And there you go, you can see that matching up. And you can also see that that is a 9 cut, you know, it's the deepest cut on the key. And you can see why we just about managed to get that in because of the adaptation I made. Yeah, you don't need to pick 9 cuts with these picks because that blade, you can see, sets them. Doesn't look particularly nice, but do we really care about that, or do we want to open locks? We want to open locks. Now, if you feel like this video gave you some value, and only if you did, give it a thumbs up. It really, really helps the channel. You know, that's why YouTubers ask. And it's very hard to cut out a niche, cut out a YouTube channel in the lockpicking niche at the moment, so it would be appreciated. Hello to all the new subscribers. We are growing. It is amazing. Leave a comment if you wish, and thanks for coming back. I'll see you next week, late as usual, with another video. Although, I've got a funny feeling you might get a little bonus reaction video midweek. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ta-ta!
Legendary.
I was a PFC on a search patrol, hunting Charlie down. It was the jungle wars of '65. My weapon jammed and I got stuck way out and all alone, and I could hear the enemy moving in close outside. Thanks, Stan Ridgway. I'm sure everyone who suffered in that brutal, unnecessary war will thank you forevermore.